'Twas the video after Christmas and all. Yeah, I'm not doing that this year, don't worry. Hello again, one and all, to the 32nd episode of Weird Mind Newsroom, and probably the last Weird Mind Newsroom episode of this year. Anyways, it's gonna be sort of a shortest video this week. We're going to talk about all the new releases, the new trailers, and all the sort of small amount of news stories that have come out in this sort of quiet period as we wrap up the festive period. So, let's just get right into it then, shall we?
Luigi, follow on with the Ferrari.
So the first of the new releases for this week is bringing us a biopic with a fair bit of speed. As the first film, we're of course talking about the new Michael Mann directed film of Ferrari. This new one will be delving into the story of Enzo Ferrari, the godfather of the famous sports car brand, and how he brought this car from a simple concept to a massive car design for speed and luxury, while also delving into his personal life with his estranged marriage and family. Now, reception on this film has been very modestly received for its performances and of its scenes with high-speed racing, though some criticisms aim towards the more slow, dramatic moments, but I'm sure it'll appeal to different groups, and if you want some high-speed entertainment, then you can check it out in cinemas now. Now for a feel-good movie based on a sports in general that I would not really have much of an interest in, as the all-Kiwi director of Taika Waititi is back again with his all-new true story film of Next Goal Wins. Now, this new film will tell the true story of coach Thomas Rongen, who is on the verge of being sacked as given the opportunity to prove his worth when he's tasked to coach the Samoa football team, labelled as many by as the worst team in the world and known for the dreaded 31-0 loss game they had back in the early 2000s, and had given them a chance to fight it out and try and make it to the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. Now, reception on this film has not been the most glowing reviews, as we say, with while the charm and some humour is there, and it's a feel-good film for some audiences, it does feel a little flat compared to his other works like Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit. But if you want a feel-good sports film to check out, then I'm sure you could probably do a lot worse. But if you want to check it out, it is available now in cinemas. And the holiday season got you feeling a bit blue and would rather be somewhere more warm, sunny and relaxing? Then look no further than taking a trip to a new little island paradise getaway with a new series based on the worldwide video game phenomenon with Pokemon Concierge. This new stop-motion series will follow Haru, a concierge at a new resort for the adorable Pokemons and their owners, and will make it their effort to make it the best stay possible, where in most cases sort of hijinks and, chaos will probably ensue. Now, the series has been receiving some very strong reception at the moment, and for its look and charm, if you want to check into something, a new nice resort, you could do so now, as the series is now available on Netflix. And with that, that's all the new releases that have come out from this week. Now on to trailers, and one of the first two trailers for this week is actually a first look at the upcoming second part for a film that only released at the time of this trailer's release about 3 days afterwards, of the first part anyway, and with it is of course a film that has garnered a huge cult where people of this film director's cult basically getting pissy that these woke critics have basically voted their film down. And this is of course Zack Snyder's new sci-fi movie, which is Rebel Moon, with part 2, The Scargiver. Now, this will follow on from the end of the first film that will see Korra and her newfound army of adversaries build a proper army to fight against the Imperium and save their home and the universe from the Mother World's reign. Now, as of writing this, I have watched the first part, and to myself, I'm a little mixed on it. Because while I do say it is visually stunning, I will say a lot of visually great stuff, just feels kind of like this film is somewhat half finished in terms of its story. Like, I will delve probably into it more bit in a proper review, and but it also comes to the case that at the score moment, probably around 5 or 6, but I could be higher or lower, who knows. But I hope that will lead to at least a decent second part, because I feel they kind of shot themselves in the foot with making two normal ones and then announcing that they'll have some director's cut version in the future. But I guess we'll have to wait until this is releasing now around Easter, as this film will be dropping on Netflix on April 19th. And then our second and final trailer for this week was a surprise drop for an announcement that I was talking about, which is another thing I mentioned last week. Now, last week I talked about that we got the new series of What If Season 2, where last week we got the first 3 episodes, and this week we just saw the remaining 6. Now, I've watched them, they're all great. I love episode 8, I love all of them. Like, the 8 is my favorite, just the concept and theme. But every day they were doing a new little kind of sneak preview of the new episode, but on the 9th day, they announced and dropped the availment of the first look at a third confirmed season for the series of What If. Now, it's not a sizzle reel what we expect in the third season, but we got a full 3-minute clip of an upcoming episode which focuses on Bucky and Red Guardian having a little run-in with the law that may be like a parody of, The Fugitive, Harrison Ford, Spielberg's Sugarland Express, or even Thelma and Louise. But I'm sure we'll learn more about the whole ordeal when the new season will be dropping sometime soon. They didn't specify when. I feel it could be like next year, but I'm thinking at least 2025 at the latest, because it's every 2 years. But with that, that's all of the trailers that we have for this week. And now, the first of some news in a very quiet week of news that was from last week, but let's throw it in here anyway. We're delving into some animation news, in particular animation based on a video game. Now, if you remember this year, if you fall in terms of box offices, we've only had 2 and a close third movie crossing $1 billion at the box office, with of course the first being Greta Gerwig's Barbie, and the other of course being the Super Mario Bros. Movie from Illumination. Now, that film was very popular, and while it had its share of mixed reception from the critics, it was a fun time at the movies. And you can also hear my thoughts on what I thought of the movie as well down below in the description of my review for the Mario movie, as well as the link to my video game adaptation history. Now, the reason I bring up this film and the studio is because they have been in rumblings and discussions with the studio of Nintendo, as they've been in talks of possibly creating planning out a cinematic universe, or the NCU, of their Nintendo IPs and characters, to where they want to lead all the way up to a film based on the popular fighting game of Super Smash Bros. And while this does sound like an interesting idea, it does come with a few concerning aspects and questions, particularly with the first being what was announced a few weeks back, which is of course that Nintendo was teaming up with Sony to create a live action film based on The Legend of Zelda, as was the case we've already seen in the form of Pikachu and Pokemon with Detective Pikachu in 2019, which was live action as well. And it also comes to effect about what IPs they own, as if they're going to base it on the first game, then the likely roster is going to be Mario, Luigi, DK, Link, Samus, Captain Falcon, Ness, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox McCloud, Pikachu, and Jigglypuff. And of those in the final roster, the Pokemon and Kirby could see some issues because while they may be games released by Nintendo, they don't officially own the rights to them. So say, Kirby's HAL Labs, big Pokemon is the Pokemon Company. And then there's also the case that they want to start adding characters from other non-game IPs they own, like Solid Snake, Sora, Bayonetta, Pit, Mega Man, and many others from the future games. It may cause a bit of an issue. Now, it will be intriguing to see if they can pull it all off and release a planned cinematic universe that's, pretty solid with the likes of animated Pokemon, Metroid, Zelda, and all other films, as well as even like a Mario sequel and things like that. But I'm sure we'll learn more over time, and if there's any updates of a planned possibility, I'll let you know in a future video. But what are your thoughts on the idea of an NCU and a possible Smash Bros. Movie? And what film would you want to see from this planned cinematic universe? Let me know what you think down below in the comments below, and let's sort of plan out what you think a timeline for the first phase of this Nintendo cinematic universe would look like. And now, another piece of news concerning video games and movies. But this time, we are delving more on the focus of an indie developer-based game series, and that's of course with Jojo Studios' game of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, the series has had its fair share of, popularity ever since it first dropped in 2017, that followed in the footsteps of FNAF, of course, from 3 years prior. They've seen 2 massive games with Ink Machine and Dark Revival, as well as some top-down games and books, as well as merch and everything like that. But now they're following in Freddy and Friends' footsteps as they are heading to the big screen. As was announced on Christmas Day, that Jojo Studios, in collaboration with Radar Pictures, are in the process of developing a full-length movie on the horror games that would most likely see the main character, past employees of the company, returning to the studio he was once part of, or a founder of, and discover that things had taken quite a drastic and dark turn. Now, wondering the two questions I have is whether or not this is going to be based on the first game, its sequel, or if it's going to be an entirely new story based on the books. Hard to say. And the second question I'm wondering is if this is going to be in live action, or is it going to be in animated form? Like, is it going to go with the FNAF route, which was live action, or is it just going to go animated? We don't know. Now, not much else is known about the project yet, and I'm sure it's probably just in early stages right now, which I'm thinking at least another 2, maybe 3 years in development. Or it could be like a FNAF and take a decade, who knows. Well, once we hear an expected release, I'll keep you in the loop. What are your thoughts on the film based on Bendy? And if you've played the games yourself, let me know what your thoughts are. Like, did you like them? Were you indifferent about them, or were you just not a fan? Well, tell me your opinions of them down as well, and everything else down below in the comments section. And for the final story that came out of a quiet week, we are returning to a story that I brought up about a month ago, which is some developments on a new entry of about 20-year horror series, and that is with the Scream franchise. Now, I mentioned back then that the main story was the newest entry of Scream 7 was finding itself in a bit of a rough situation, as it was announced that the actress of Melissa Pereira had been fired from the films due to her post about the ongoing and vile war in Israel and Palestine, where she condemned the actions done by Israel, and then in the process the company dropped her due to it being labeled as anti-Semitic. And in that case, I don't want to go too deeply into this. I don't want to get overly political and at all on this channel, so I'm not going to delve too much into it. Now, following that, Jenna Ortega also dropped out of the film, which was some say was in solidarity with her co-star, but mostly was due to her scheduling conflicts, as at the time of the second season of Wednesday will be filming around the same time they're going to plan filming this. So it now looks like another person has also left this mess of production. As was announced earlier this week, the director of Christopher Landon has also stepped down as director of the film, as he described the production as a dream job that turned into a nightmare. Now, it has been the case that the film has been falling apart even before all of this. The actress that played Final Girl, Sidney Prescott of Neve Campbell, didn't return for the sixth entry due to some unfair pay disputes, and they seem to be trying to get her back for the film as the last cause effort. It's hard to say if this will see the light of day at this point, or where it may be just time to put this series, to bed at this point. It's really unknown, but I guess we'll find out down the line if anything changes or happens. And if it does, I'll update you in a later piece. But what are your thoughts on the announced departure, and do you see this 7 film happening, or is this series done for? Let me know what you think all down below in the comments, and with that, that's all of the news that we have for this year.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year.
And with all of that, that brings us to the end of another short edition of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these, not as big ramblings, but as well as the case of all my ramblings of this year. I want to thank you all for at least just joining me on the start of this journey this year. It's been enjoyable from the blog versions, and then this it's like it was a big leap. I want to do it. I will say 2023 has been not the most great of years. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. I know myself, I've had a really sort of roughish year. I'm not going to delve into it much, but that's my own personal stuff. It's to my own accord. But we'll say, case is like just all out there, that even if most of you did this year was survive for the year, I'm very proud of you, and I appreciate that you've made the effort to be here, because you're special, you're unique, and the world wouldn't be the same without you. And if anything that I may have I've hurt, or may have just caused issues or something with in the past, I apologize. Just in the case, I don't mean to cause harm. I want to be, positive or anything like that. Just, I try my best. The world is a really just messy place right now, and I just want to bring a bit of positivity to it. So if I have caused issue or concern, I'm sorry, and I apologize for any issues I may have caused. Just for some ideas into the future, what to expect in the channel. So I will get to some reviews for stuff. I have seen Wonka. I'm definitely going to give the review for that. I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to write that up in the next few days. I'm gonna do Barbenheimer. I'm gonna finish the rewatchathon and have it out by January. I'm gonna try and do a little blog piece on the Golden Globe nominations and see what's gonna win. It's next week, so I'll try and get it done this week. Maybe if I have the time, I'll get the Emmys done as well, which is like a week or two after. I'll do the Oscars one whenever that comes out. I'm gonna do some other bits of stuff. I'm gonna hopefully try and get to start gameplays on my channel as well. I'm gonna try and get some recording stuff set up and shit like that. I want to do like collabs with people, so like if you want to do some stuff, even some skits, talk some stuff, do little bits and pieces, talk about things, I'd love to hear it. I'm gonna try and do some in-depth game reviews as well. I finished Zelda there last week. I loved it. I want to get onto that. I want to do one on Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's incredible journey of through old American history, fun for your life, fun for your family. You know the line. Yeah, and all that stuff. I want to do that kind of concept of a reading book. I want to do some ASMR for you all when I get to the ideal of it. Do some unique concepts, do some skits, do everything like that. I want to at least build this channel. I want to build a wholesome community. I want to build over time. I want to get better over time with everything. And it's a case that if you're there, support me, and there's even just a case of viewing or subbing or liking or commenting, anything that you even acknowledge. I appreciate every single one of you for being there. But yeah, I think I've rambled on a bit too. I've rambled on long enough now for this year, so I'd like to just rinse a toast to all and say well done for getting through this year, 2023. We hardly knew you. This felt like I blinked and it was only 2022 yesterday. But, it's the case. And here's to a 2024 that's hopefully a lot more positive, a lot more brighter, a year for great things for everyone, and a lot more positivity. So, cheers to that. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there now. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, and hopefully I'll try and get a schedule going and work around some bits and pieces. I got shit to sort out anyways. But if you'd like to see more from me and just, to support my stuff, you can like the videos, subscribe if you haven't already, and even comment below on all the topics that you enjoyed listening to, or give your thoughts on all the things discussed today. Or, give me some ideas you want to see me make. I'll definitely look into it and see if I can try and make them over time. But yeah, and anyone up for collabing or want to share some things and want in a special segment, let me know in the comments. I'll definitely do it. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. So that's it for this year. You all stay being wonderful people and have a great year next year, and have a great day every day doing many great things, because you all are really great people, and I love you all. Anyways, I'm going to go to bed. I'm sort of tired. I look tired anyway, but yeah. Anyways, I'll see you all in the new year, and let's make 2024 great. You stay being wonderful, everyone, and good night.